The Kalavinka Sync. Lyra gripped the yoke of her luxury jet as the sky turned into a smear of static. The cockpit, once a sanctuary of leather and glass, hummed with a digital blue electromagnetic noise that stung her skin. Outside, the clouds were no longer vapor but rows of code, flickering between reality and a haunting void. She was no longer flying. She was being processed. On the jungle floor below, Silas and Harland stood amidst ferns that bled emerald green phosphorescence. The year was 1944, but the air felt heavy with a future they couldn't understand. Silas checked his watch, but the hands were spinning backward, fueled by a thrumming vibration that rose from the damp earth beneath their boots. The jet began to shiver, then peel. Lyra watched in horror as the wingtips dissolved into golden geometric fractals, shedding pieces of themselves like digital autumn leaves. The impact wasn't a crash of metal on wood, but a collision of two different times. She screamed as the fuselage started to fold into the shape of a crystalline dream. Silas knelt by the company radio, his brow furrowed. Instead of the rhythmic pulse of Morse code or the static of the Pacific Theater, the machine emitted a flickering, distorted song. It was a voice from a century away, a woman's desperate SOS mixed with the rhythmic beat of electronic drums that shouldn't exist for decades. Further into the bush, Harland discovered a yawning cavern. The walls weren't made of limestone, but of pulsing phosphate mountains that breathed with a rhythmic alien light. Every time the mountain pulsed, the ground beneath him seemed to shift, as if the very geography of the island was trying to rewrite its own history. Silas reached for his mission orders, but the paper felt like liquid under his touch. Before his eyes, the ink ran, and the military documents began melting, the rigid letters shifting into strange, curved symbols. Reality was losing its grip on the material world, and the past was liquefying into the present. A sudden flash of light blinded Silas. When he opened his eyes, the world had slowed to a crawl. Within his pupils, the reflection of the jungle was gone, replaced by a shifting kaleidoscope of sacred geometry. He wasn't just seeing the trees anymore. He was seeing the architecture of time itself, glowing in shades of emerald and sapphire. High above the canopy, Lyra saw the sky rip open. An electric blue portal flared in the night, a jagged wound in the heavens that pulsed with the same electromagnetic noise that had claimed her jet. The stars behind it were out of alignment, rearranged into patterns that defied every map she had ever studied. From the heart of the fractal wreckage, a majestic shape began to rise. It was the Kalavinka, a celestial bird made of pure white light and shimmering feathers of phosphate. It let out a cry that sounded like 1,000 synchronized clocks, its wingspan spanning the width of the clearing as it bridged the gap between Lyra's world and Silas's. The clock struck 8:20, and the roar of the anomaly finally fell silent. Silas stepped into the clearing where the jet had been, but the plane was gone. All that remained was a single, sleek piece of titanium debris and a flickering glass screen. He picked it up, the modern light reflecting in his 1940s eyes as the two timelines finally merged into a single silent morning.